What's going on, guys? This is Vince with vshred.com, and today I'm going to be showing you guys 5 of the most common gym mistakes that I see and how to fix them. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to be showing you 5 common gym mistakes that I see just made all the time, and this is not all of the gym mistakes that I see made, because I see a lot made. I might end up making a couple more videos just further going down the list of the mistakes that I see in the gym, but I just wanted to cover 5 that I think are going to make strides in the progress if you're guilty of doing any of these. I'm going to get right into the first one, and it's going to be related to dumbbell presses. And this can be, I'm going to show you guys it with a shoulder press. It can be the same thing for chest press, incline, flat, decline, whatever. There's 2 main issues that I see when it comes to dumbbell presses. So when you're seeing just a regular shoulder press, this is normally what you see. Someone sitting there, pressing up, down. Let's say they got full range of motion, up, down, up, down, up. Now the issue here is you have to understand exactly how you're going to be working your shoulder, or if you're doing a chest press, how you're going to be working your chest, and that is through your elbows. So the whole point, the whole way to work, let's say your shoulders right now, is by getting your elbows to go from here all the way up to straight. To basically taking your elbow right here, and it should be at a slight angle forward, which I'll get to here in a second with another tip on another exercise. But you want your elbows slightly rolled forward. That's a big issue alone. A lot of people flare their elbows back, and the reason that you want to actually put your shoulder forward is just so that you don't cause any shoulder injury. Your shoulder joint is actually slightly tilted forward. The ball and socket is slightly forward, so if you don't do that, you're putting your shoulder into a weaker position, therefore putting yourself at risk of injury. So that's the first thing. Next is that people just push the weight up, and they think that because the weight is up that it's good. The whole point of a press is with elbow adduction, which means that you are bringing your elbows from the outside in together. That right there is what's going to give you that peak contraction, which is going to be full range of motion. Same thing with chest press. If you're down, you want your elbows down from the side all the way up, squeezing together. That's why I like dumbbell presses more than like bench press. So that's the other thing. And then last with dumbbell presses is, I was doing this just now when I was showing you the dumbbell press. People get down here, let's say their elbows are forward, they're going from elbows all the way out, pressing elbows together, but then now instead of squeezing out that peak contraction and getting right back into the next rep, they're pushing this weight up, kind of resting for a second, going to the next one. Pressing up, kind of resting for a second, going to the next one. Pressing up, releasing tension. Pressing up, releasing tension. Instead, what you want to do is elbows forward, go down, get that stretch on your shoulder muscle, press up, squeeze it out, go right into the next rep. Squeeze out, right into the next rep. You don't ever want to sit there for a second, take a breath, go into your next rep. Sit there, take a breath, go into your next rep. You want to make sure that you are maintaining tension throughout the entire exercise, and that is when you're really going to start feeling the burn. That's when you're going to start making better progress, and you're just going to start getting more out of your workout. So that is tip number 1. All right, so I just mentioned with dumbbell presses, an issue with your shoulder. So the next tip that I want to get to, and one of the common mistakes that I see related to lat pull down. Now, when you guys see people doing lat pull downs, a lot of times you see them doing it right, every now and then. A lot of times you see them doing it wrong, but the part I want to talk about right now is specifically behind the head lat pull downs. You see guys doing it all the time. They're thinking that because it's behind the head, they're pulling it straight down, and they're going to be hitting their lat muscles from a different angle, and they're going to be getting a super wide back because they're going back behind their head, their elbows all the way back. Well, as I just mentioned in the dumbbell presses, seeing as how your shoulder joint is slightly tilted forward, that means the natural position, the strongest position for your shoulders is going to be with your elbows slightly forward. That's going to put you in the strongest position, also minimize your risk of injury. Also, when people are doing behind the head lat pull downs, you have to understand exactly why they're doing it. Why would someone go into a lat pull down and pull behind their head? Because they're trying to get their elbows to pull straight into their body. So when you understand that they're just trying to get this elbow adduction to pull in so that they can shorten that lat muscle and really work that muscle right there. And then you also once you understand that your elbows need to be slightly forward, all you have to do is slide back on the bench. So instead of being up here and pulling this behind your head, just slide back a little bit so that your elbows are naturally going to be just in front of your body. And then from here, just pull your elbows straight down into your side. That way, when you're reaching up for this weight, it is sitting right, so it's in line right in front of your face. So that when you pull down, it's going to be just in front of your body. Therefore, your elbows are going to be forward, shoulders are going to be in a strong position, but your elbows are still going to be able to adduct all the way into your body, basically pulling straight down as you can to get those lat muscles firing the same or even better than if you were to pull this back behind your head and probably hurt your shoulder. So that's number 2. All right, tip number 3, common mistake I see. I'm sitting here on a bike, and this doesn't just have to do with bikes, it has to do with traditional cardio, also known as steady state cardio, also known as going at one steady pace for 45 minutes, jogging, biking, stair climber, elliptical, you name it. You walk into the gym every single day and you see a line of people on the cardio machines doing steady state cardio, running, jogging 30, 45 minutes up to an hour, and not seeing any progress from it. And this is on the list mainly because there are just better options to be doing. Not only is steady state cardio kind of a waste of time, because for 45 minutes you're really only going to burn maybe a couple hundred calories max, and then the second you stop doing that cardio, you stop burning calories, and then you go eat a yogurt right after you work out and you've already eaten all the calories back. So what are you really gaining from this? And also the fact that it eats away at your muscle. There is no supporting evidence that when you are doing steady state cardio, it can take away from your fat stores to fuel that workout, because you're just doing too high of an energy activity in order to use your fat for fuel. You have to be doing either a lower energy activity like low intensity steady state cardio, which is when you are basically going at a speed like this rather than actually really breaking a sweat and tiring yourself out. That is something that can be fueled by fat. But something like jogging or elliptical, where you're out of breath the whole time just sitting there for 45 minutes, is going to take away from your muscle. So it's going to break down muscle. You're going to lose muscle mass by doing steady state cardio, not fat. Now, I said there's better options. Like I just said, low intensity steady state, just going at one slow, low intensity pace where you're able to hold a conversation, where you're barely breaking a sweat. That is a low enough energy activity that you can actually grab from your fat stores to use them for energy. That's one. The other cardio method that I recommend is HIIT cardio. HIIT stands for high intensity interval training, and this is basically, if you see someone at the gym doing these 10 to 20 second bursts of max intensity, whether it's sprinting on the treadmill, whether it's a battle rope, whether it's going all out on a bike, going all out on stairs, and then you see them stop for another 10 to 20 seconds, that is high intensity interval training, and they are doing cardio right. Not only does it only take 15 to 20 minutes tops, most of my HIIT workouts take about 10 minutes, and that's with a minute or two warm up and cool down, but also you're going to be burning calories much longer. With HIIT cardio, not only do you burn calories while you're doing it, but while you're doing these max intervals, these high intensity intervals, what you're doing is depleting your oxygen stores. When you deplete your oxygen stores, you create what is known as a oxygen deficit. And when you create an oxygen deficit, your body then has to replenish that oxygen. And this can take up to anywhere from 24 to 48 hours to do this, depending on how intense you really went during those max intensity intervals. And then you burn calories the entire time it takes to do that. So for a 10 to 15 minute hit session, you can burn calories for up to 2 days through the process, which is known as excess post-oxygen consumption. Some people call it the afterburn effect, but it's just a great way to burn additional calories. So as you can see, you can do HIIT cardio, you can do low intensity steady state cardio, but traditional steady state cardio, going at one pace where you're out of breath for 45 minutes, is just going to eat away at your muscle mass and waste your time in the gym. So that's number 3. Oh, hey, didn't see it. Well, 4th tip has to do with what I was just doing. And that is just going from point A to point B and not actually contracting your muscles. So many times, every single time I go to the gym, I see guys not properly doing what the workout is supposed to, not working their muscles how the muscles are supposed to be worked. When you're going to the gym and you're resistance training, any kind of resistance training, whether that's with weights, whether that's with resistance bands, whether that's with body weight, the whole emphasis is to contract your muscles. If you're not contracting your muscles, if you're not stimulating your muscle fibers, you're not creating any kind of room or any reason for those muscles to adapt and grow bigger and get stronger and put on any kind of muscle. Therefore, you're not going to get in better shape if you're not putting on any kind of muscle. And it also increases your basal metabolic rate. It creates a need for more calories, so your metabolism is going to speed up with the more muscle you have on your body. So if you're going to the gym and you're just throwing around weight and you get some heavy ass curls going, or you get some heavy bench going or whatever, and you're just focusing on getting this weight from right here and doing whatever you can, and as long as you get it up here, you're happy, you need to stop doing that. Instead, what you need to do is kick that heavy ass weight out of the way. I think that was like a 85-pound barbell. I got a 35-pound barbell right here, and instead of taking the weight and throwing it up and dropping it back down, creating momentum, dropping it back down, instead what you're trying to do here is work your biceps. So do that. So what you're gonna do instead is get this weight at the bottom. You're not gonna create any momentum. You're going to start curling, elbow flexion, getting that weight all the way to the top, squeezing out your bicep at the top, going down just as slow, and right before you lose tension, go into the next rep. Squeezing out of the top, back down. You're trying to shorten and lengthen that muscle, and doing that over and over again is what's going to actually work the muscle fiber and create this environment where it's wanting to grow bigger and stronger. So 4th tip, it's a very easy one if you remember it when you go to the gym every single day, or however often you go to the gym, is just work on stimulating your muscles rather than going from point A to point B. That's tip number 4. All right, tip number 5, don't do this. Stop doing, if you're guilty of going to the gym and doing anything on a BOSU ball, whether that is a shoulder press, whether that is a squat, or maybe it's getting a kettlebell out and doing some kind of weird shoulder press where you're dropping it back down and curling up and pressing this up. Stop doing this. Here's a better way to do it. Jump off the BOSU ball and get on a firm ground that is going to allow you to have a stable base to perform the exercise. When you are trying to work a muscle, you want as stable of a base as possible. And you might be thinking, well, what about stabilization muscles? What about balance? Well, what are you really trying to go for? If you are someone who needs stabilization and balance, if you're an athlete, if you're trying to juke out a basketball, if you're trying to juke out a football player, if you're a tennis player, whatever, that's a little different. But most of us are just people trying to get in better shape and trying to be more functional and just trying to build more muscle on our frame, especially the guys watching this channel and some of the girls. So if you're gonna sit there and you're gonna do any kind of shoulder press, or you're gonna grab a kettlebell, right here, I am in a much stronger position to do I could grab a kettlebell probably twice as heavy as this now, that my feet are on firm ground, rather than just basically taking all the BOSU ball is gonna be doing is, will it help with your balance a little bit? Sure. Will it help with your stabilization muscles a tiny bit? Sure. but what it's going to be doing is taking away so much strength and power from what you're trying to do. Are you trying to work your shoulder and your bicep? Are you trying to do shoulder press, or are you trying to work stabilization muscles? Because if you're trying to work your shoulders, get off of this, work your shoulders, and then come back to this without any kind of exercise and just work on stabilization or just work on balance. And you can do those in much different ways than with the Bosu ball. Stabilization, you can just do that with dumbbells, and that's going to be stabilization muscles. There's so much. I'm not saying Bosu ball is horrible, but I'm saying there are better options, because if you are trying to put on muscle, that's not your answer. That's going to take away from your strength. It's going to make it so that you are just holding yourself back from making faster progress in the gym. And just for those who know what they're doing, it's going to look kind of silly if you're doing that. So don't use Bosu ball. That's tip number 5. If you guys liked these tips, I'm probably going to be making more videos like this, just calling out gym mistakes that I see on a day-to-day basis, really. So if you learned anything, click that thumbs up button below. If you guys are wanting more tips in the gym, more tricks in the kitchen, all of that, I created a physique builder tool that matches you up with, basically takes what your information is, what are your goals, what shape are you in, what are you trying to achieve, and then it spits out a video at the end giving you three tips for your specific goal, and then it also recommends which of my 90-day programs is best for yours, but that's completely optional. You don't have to get that. You can just get the free tips if you want. You can check out that free quiz by clicking the link in the description below this video. Other than that, if you guys have any questions about this video, if you have any videos that you guys want me to make, leave them in the comment section below. And then last but not least, make sure you're clicking that subscribe button. And then also, if you're going to click that subscribe button, or if you already have, make sure you're clicking that little bell for the notifications. That way you get notified when I release a new video, because YouTube is stupid sometimes, it doesn't tell you. So thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.